My name is Natalia. I live in St. Petersburg. I've come to this retreat alone. My decision was driven by the need to be here. I knew it would be a valuable experience for me. I was not after any explanation, but in need of an emotional trigger. I practice Vastu. This is a long path that I stepped on back in 2010. I hope we have time for this. In 2010, I was strongly attached to the material world. I had no idea about where my dad traveled. He spoke about a Sai Baba, and I was absolutely unaware about who he was or what it was. But I thought, okay, it's good for Dad to do what he wants. He feels good there, in India, in that ashram. People practice spirituality there. It's good. It's only beneficial for Dad's health. You can do whatever you like, Daddy. That period of my life was all about chasing after material possessions. Money, real property, cars, career made the meaning of my life. This is how everybody lives, and maybe this is what everybody needs. And I kept pursuing these goals as well. But something seemed to be saying to me, you keep accumulating wealth, but it doesn't bring you happiness. However, I still thought that I was to make money, when suddenly I lost my hearing for no apparent reason. Medical examinations took 3 weeks and I had 2 ear surgeries, and no one could find the reason. It was the first thing that made me think that there is something else. Then I learned about psychosomatics, about esotericism, and that it meant that there was something that I couldn't hear. There was something in this world that I couldn't hear. I began to dig deeper. By that time, I had been married for 13 years, I had 2 children, and I was educating them as I could. I didn't devote much attention to them. Mom was busy, Dad held a lower-level position, but he had time to devote to children. And I put much pressure on my husband. Why don't you try to attain realization? Why don't you make money? And so on. In this family, there was no love, there was no support, no understanding. We led a sort of life, pointless life. Then I met a man with an inner world that I had never seen before. He had several degrees in Reiki, he meditated, and was committed to spiritual growth. I stared at him as if he were an alien. I thought, my God, he is absolutely nothing like my husband, who is a warehouse worker. He was nothing like anyone I had ever met. At the beginning, we didn't communicate much. During 3 to 4 months, we talked only on social media. I was married, by the way. Then we had a kind of date, and I said that I would never deal with him again because he hadn't paid for my tea. How could it be possible that a man wouldn't pay? You see, I had an entitlement mentality. I thought I was owed a favor. I thought everybody was to abide by the rules. And if someone didn't follow the rules but behaved differently, they rated as bad people. Or as good people, because I liked or disliked them, etc. And then, obviously, I needed this person. And we began to communicate and meet in person. Finally, at the end of 2011, I divorced my husband and began to build relationships with this man. It was an absolutely different level of relationship. But it took us time to attain this level, because a woman who lives in the material world and has a stable belief system just can't change on the spur of the moment on meeting someone else. This is why my transformation journey began only when we moved in together. It came as a surprise to me. In my relationship with this absolutely different person, I used the same patterns that I had used in my relationship, unhappy relationship, throughout the preceding 13 years. And I thought, my God, it doesn't make any sense. Thank God a sound idea came to my mind. The problem was in me. My soul started seeking. Before, I used to be looking for material benefits. But here is another feeling channel came into play. What, where, why, what for? I was trying to find answers to these questions with my feelings looking within. I began to study the Vedic psychology to find an explanation for my attitude to my husband. I attended a 7-day retreat in Hungary where I understood a lot. My mindset transformed. It became more cosmic-oriented. And I began to perceive this world as energy. Every person is the manifestation of love. It was then that I learned about unconditional love. And it revolutionized my thinking. Every day was devoted to studying psychology and learning how to communicate with children. At that time, I didn't yet have the child I dreamed about, and I wished to have this child as soon as possible. I devoured all the knowledge I could, psychology, numerology that was also taught there. I studied it. I studied Jyotish, Vedic astrology. So this way of discovering myself was really long. I immersed myself in Vastu and started to practice it at home. And when I bought this course, my dear husband and I conceived a child, and in 2016, I bore him our baby girl. I already had 2 children from my first marriage. Now they are 20 and 21. Children who didn't get all the love they deserved. And I realized that I had made a lot of mistakes back then. Too many. But my girl was born when I already knew what unconditional love was, what energies we should rely upon in our life, and my life changed completely. At home, I did everything to harmonize it all by arranging furniture and so on, by thinking the right thoughts, by working with energies. And my life and my way of thinking were changing tremendously. On the one hand, it's painful, it is challenging, but this is incredibly interesting and easy at the same time, because the maxims are very simple. Just a year ago, when I saw Imram on Instagram, I began to come across his videos and reels very often. I came across one clip, then another, again and again. A couple of words of his would touch my heart every time. And then I watched a 1-minute clip for the first time, then another. It's a good thing that they published them. He talked about what I was studying, and the meaning was so deep that I felt I was ready to dive into this depth. I began to watch. Soon I registered for the retreat, because I am the one who immediately plunges down into such things. I learned about him and said that I wanted to be there. For me, there's a very important indicator. If you feel better and your mood is boosted when you deal with a person and information that they transmit, it means that this is the right person. If nothing changes or you have negative feelings, or it's hard for you to listen to them, you can be sure that this person won't help you in any way. After listening to Imram, I wanted to fly, to act, to learn about myself. I wanted to dig deeper and deeper into myself. I knew from the sciences that I had studied that all the answers were to be found within. But to find a master who would show how easy it is to immerse so deep, It seems to me he's the only one who can do it now. I don't know if there's another. He's so disinterested in enlarging his audience and so on. He's not like that. He's all about pure consciousness that gives itself to the world without asking for anything in return. This is how I ended up here. I attended a seminar that was held in Moscow last April. Many people take a break between a seminar and a retreat and think it's right. But for me, it's important not to give free rein to such things, not to leave myself all alone practicing. I need a united field. I need support. I need people around who have a similar mindset, who share my ideas and follow the same path. At home, even after the seminar, I knew I needed to practice, but I was still in the same environment with the same people around who were out of the loop, shall I say. And they didn't give me the opportunity to fully devote myself to self-discovering. Because our environment affects us however you slice it. This is why I take every opportunity to be in the environment that resonates with the path that I know my soul leads me to. No doubt. I am absolutely sure of it. The key discovery that I have made in my life is that I shouldn't yield to the reasoning of the mind, not to intellectualize, but to feel. When you follow your feelings, your life unfolds the best way possible. Because everyone has to follow their path. We are led by certain energies. The brain is unaware of these energies and doesn't understand them at all. But our souls are filled with knowledge and bliss. They know it all, they understand everything. I'm lucky to have met a man who already knew how to work with these energies. He is not a Kriya practitioner, but he doesn't interfere with my practices. Sometimes he asks me which meditations I can do. We discuss many topics. What Imram says, what I learn from him, is ideas that seem interesting to me. I share it all with my husband and we talk about it. I believe that it's a great boon to be able to share anything with the person you live with. He supports me, and Veronica, our daughter, who is now 6.5 years old now, sometimes sits down to meditate with me. She listens. But when she is tired of it, she leaves. But she understands and knows what energies are. I discuss these topics with her. In the kindergarten, when someone offends her, or someone listens to stories about monsters or has certain fears, I explain to her that where your thoughts go, your life follows. If you want to live in fear, you choose girls who talk about it. Or you could play with those who are cheerful and fearless. Now she even teaches other children in the kindergarten that we are what we think. It's cool. Of course, when you start practicing Kriya, you raise your level of awareness, and the level of tolerance increases by itself. This is very important when you have children. Many women are used to tolerating their kids' tricks, kids being naughty or breaking certain rules, about sprucing up their home or making noise and so on. First off, Kriya practice helps us accept our children as they are. And secondly, let them live their life as they like. Refrain from trying to change them, but look at them as our teachers. Because all adults set a lot of boundaries for themselves. But looking at children, you realize that for them these boundaries don't exist. Kriya teaches us to remove all patterns and avoid labeling our children. And if we want our children to become happy adults, we should let them live their own life. We should stop controlling them and just give them love, care, home, beautiful clothes, and meals. Let them develop, feel this world and explore it, and avoid scaring them. Many people say, if we give kids the freedom of action, later they will do whatever they want. Yes, they should do whatever they want. This is how we should educate children. And when you limit them thinking that what you do is right because thus you won't get into bad company or become a drug addict, etc., what you are in fact doing is teaching children to set boundaries. These boundaries will make them suffer. It will backfire and result in what we feared. They'll get into bad company, try drugs, and so on. If young kids are taught to feel and they sense what they want, they will choose to be happy. And they certainly won't mingle with companies where there is no life. For women who work much, it's advisable to discover their true nature and try to answer the question that they don't ask themselves. What is the essence of being a woman? A woman is a special energy whose purpose is to realize desires, and a man's purpose is to fulfill them, to earn money for the fulfillment of a woman's desires. When a woman lives in conflict with her true nature, working herself into a lather and doing someone else's job, while her task is to create and spread this love, everything in her family life goes wrong. A man can't earn money because he doesn't understand what this money is to be earned for, because his wife doesn't dream or envision what this world was created for. These mountains were created to be looked at. The majesty of this world was created to be admired. Woman's mind is limited to the need of paying off the mortgage, of earning money for the education of their children or their own existence, and thus they deprive themselves of their great power. With such women, men are helpless. They really can't do anything. This is why my advice for women is to stop and wake up. It doesn't mean that they must quit their job, lie down on a couch and say, "From this time on, my task is to enjoy life and relax in the Bahamas." No, it doesn't work that way. She must ask herself, what is it that I want? What is it that I don't want? What's the purpose of my life? What can I give to my family? What am I giving to my family right now? How do my children feel? But first of all, how do I feel? When she answers these questions, how do I feel? What can I do for it? I can do this and that. What do I need for this? Ah, I have everything I need. I don't have to work myself into a lather. And when she feels that what she already has is all she needs and becomes happy on her own, happy to be who she is, to have these body shapes and look the way she does, and to have the knowledge she has, she will finally relax. A woman's journey to all kinds of understanding begins with relaxation. When she stops and relaxes, her life will take a 180-degree turn. The atmosphere at the retreat is very peaceful. I feel it and see it. However, I see this is not a case for everyone, but they are a minority. The more one expects, the more one is disappointed. The fewer people expect to get something from the place where they are, the greater is the gain. This is very true for the retreat. Because if we are, this is my philosophy, expecting that someone will give us something, we won't get anything. We can only take. We don't take it from a giver. We take what we need, what we feel. From this, we must totally accept everything that is going on around us. Thank God, here we have an atmosphere of ultimate acceptance, because the participants are highly aware people. This is our common way chosen by all of us, and it's easier to follow this path. There are lots of participants here. This is the first retreat where I see so many participants, and this is a concern for many. As for me, I think the more people gather together, the stronger is the field in which our transformation takes place. We go through significant transformations here. Here I realize things I've been trying to realize for the past 10 years. Here, one can just in 7 days complete the journey they have been on for all their life. This is really so. Moreover, it's just the beginning, a commitment for the future. I know that even if I don't realize certain things here, it will keep spiraling, and I will realize them after the retreat. Because this mechanism has already been started, and it's impossible to stop it, I am sure. The atmosphere here is majestic. Mountains. I've always adored mountains. I wish there were mountains in St. Petersburg. I love the sea. This is a point of elevation. The air is cleaner here. It gives a feeling of being closer to the Creator and to yourself. Everything that Master says is absolutely clear to me, because I practice it all. I also give lectures for women trying to help them escape the everyday rigors of life. Before I started working with women trying to find the answers to their questions, it took me 5 years to answer my own. When you are constantly searching and already have some understanding, I'm happy to be here and listen to Imram. It's a seamless experience. I don't encounter any information that I'd meet with resistance. There's nothing that I would feel I need to think over or listen to it once again, or put it down and think about it later. He shares the true knowledge. I have defined for myself how to tell true knowledge from false. If it's clear and unquestionable, and you don't want to challenge it, this is how it really is. Another important sensation is that you start recalling it, because the soul has this knowledge. The soul is within and we are connected to it, but we are unaware of this connection. And when one learns to be consciously unconscious, one will find the answers to all their questions, because these answers are not to be found without. There is all the energy, there are all the resources, there are all the answers to your questions, only there, within you. When one realizes it, something will just click for them, and they will never be the one they used to be. They will follow a different path. A woman must draw her family out of this darkness. We could call it darkness, but it's not that darkness. This is ignorance, a dream, oblivion, beliefs, imposed by the society that shape our perception of this world. But we should rely on our own mind, and even better, on our feelings and heart. When I listen to Imram, I clearly feel that I recall everything, that I know very much, and it all resonates with what I've been studying throughout the past 8 years. Thank God, the universe reveals the same kind of information to me. But every time the knowledge I get is deeper and deeper. I'm so grateful to my dad who talked to Imram in 2010. He says that Imram was playing the drums and his daughter was there too, playing the flute, and they had a long talk. He said that Imram was a great person and asked me to give him his best regards. When I said to my dad that I was going to see Imram, he responded, "Natasha, it's really great. I listened to his lectures." And I wanted to advise him to listen to Imram's lectures. I said, "Dad, you know, there's a very good master. You should go and see him after all. You used to go to meet Sai Baba. You should search information about Imram." He says, "Natasha, I listen to Imram nearly every day." I say, "Really?" You see, we live in one family, and everyone is committed only to their own development. I think it was my dad who was leading me. And he brought me here. My advice for those who are seeking inner happiness, inner peace, and the meaning of life, which is to be found only after we answer what happiness is to follow your feelings. When you listen to someone and their ideas resonate with you, it makes you feel good, feel better. If your life is getting better day after interacting with this person, don't leave this path, continue this journey. You're on the right track.